Hello and welcome to another episode of The Navy Nurse. I just finished working a 12-hour shift, a night shift, and I'm on day 2 of 3. So I also have to work tonight, but I wanted to make a video for you guys before I went to sleep for the day and then before I had to go to work, because if I don't, then it just gets held off. I keep pushing it back because I have all these other commitments at work that I need to do, and I'm like, let me make some time to make a video for you guys. So anyway, I'm currently on night shift. I have two more weeks of night shift. I can't wait to go back to day shift. I go back to day shift. We do like 8 weeks and then we flip back to night shift. So I do like it that there's a variety, By the end of the 8 weeks, it's been so crazy busy on day shift where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go to night shift and chill out for a while. But not all the time you get to chill out on night shift because it can get pretty busy as well. But anyway, I digress. Today's video is going to be about the ranking system in the Navy. So I've gotten a couple of questions about what rank you will have in the Navy and how do you make rank. So I'm gonna just start at the beginning. So there's two distinct ranking systems in the Navy. So you have your enlisted ranking system and then you have your officer ranking system. So I'll start with enlisted. Enlisted folks are people who enlist in the Navy. They go through a boot camp, not like officer development school, but they go through an actual boot camp, and they don't necessarily have to have a college degree. So, you can graduate high school and enlist in the Navy. So your enlisted ranks are going to be E1 through E9. So I'll just name off the ranks so you have an idea of what those ranks are called. So you'll have E1, which is a seaman, seaman recruit, and then you'll have an E2, which is a seaman apprentice, and then you'll have an E3, which is a seaman. And then the enlisted folks, they have to go through a board process and an exam. So they have to do exams based on their job in the Navy and then general things in the Navy that all the enlisted people should know. So once they pass that exam and they have good evaluations, then you go into the petty officer ranks. So your E4 will be petty officer 3rd class, and then E5 will be petty officer 2nd class, E6 would be your petty officer 1st class, and then you get into the chief ranks. So to make chief, it's even harder. You have to go through a board, you have to be selected to make chief. So E7 would be your chief petty officer, E8 is your senior chief petty officer, and then E9 is your master chief petty officer. So that's an idea of what the enlisted ranks are. So as a Navy nurse, you're a commissioned officer. So you're not enlisted, you're commissioned. So you do have to have at least a bachelor's degree in nursing in order to commission as a Navy nurse. So those ranks are typically O1 through O6, and then you get into your admiral status. So O1, you'll be an ensign. O2 is lieutenant JG. O3 is lieutenant, and O4 is lieutenant commander. O5 is commander, and then O6 is your full bird, you're a captain. So after O6, that's when you're like going into the admiral phase, and that's rear admiral, lower half, rear admiral, upper half, and then you have your vice admiral and then admiral. So That's the ranking system, just what they're called. So, how does it work? So, I'm just going to specifically talk about officers in this video because I'm guessing all of you who are watching my channel want to be a Navy nurse or have some interest in Navy nursing. So, I'm going to specifically talk about the officer side. So, how do you know how much you're making? How much money are you going to make? So, your rank directly correlates to how much money you're making in the Navy. So if you Google right now military pay chart and pick the one that says DFAS, that stands for Defense Finance and Accounting System. So if you Google that, you'll see a pretty large scale pay chart. And on the left hand side, you're going to see how many, or you're going to see the actual rank. And then on the top side, you're going to see how many years of service. So for instance, the way you would read it is, let's say you're in O2, you're a Lieutenant JG, and you've been in for 2 years. You would bring those two together, and wherever they intersect, that's how much money base pay you're going to be making. So when I say base pay, that's your basic pay. Like that's what Lieutenant JG at 2 years, everybody across the board is making. Now, that doesn't factor in your housing allowance, your money for food, and then any other different stipends or bonuses that you will receive while you're in the military. That's just getting a lot into the weeds. Like there's a lot more different things that are included in your total pay. But here I'm just talking about basic pay just to give you a basic idea. So that's how you read that pay chart. The longer you stay in the Navy, the more time in service you have, then the more money you'll get paid, basic pay, according to that rank. So you always just look at the military base pay chart to get an idea of what you'll be making. So how do you make rank? That's a big question I get. So the good thing about the Navy is you can always grow in the military. You can always promote. It's up to you if you want to promote, and it's totally doable. So I'll just go through the ranks just to give you an idea. So you will start out as an ensign, and that's in 01. So let's say you're just brand new in the military, you're an ensign. As long as you do your job, you stay out of trouble, you will automatically make O2, make Lieutenant JG in 2 years. So you have to have that time and rank, ensign to Lieutenant JG, 2 years, then bam, you make Lieutenant JG. Same thing for Lieutenant JG to lieutenant, so O2 to O3. 2 years, you stay out of trouble, you do your job, bam, you make lieutenant. Now it starts to get different from lieutenant to lieutenant commander. So O3 to O4. So the minimum time and rank is 3 years from lieutenant to lieutenant commander. Typically you see, 3 to 5 years right there, people going to make lieutenant commander. So how do you make rank from O3 to O4? So it's still, you have to stay out of trouble, you have to do your job, but you're starting to make more rank and you need to do more leadership type things, like be a division officer and take leadership courses, things like that. So every officer in the military, every year we have to do fit reps, which are basically evaluations of how you have been working as an officer for that entire year. So things that are really big that are looked at on a fit rep are leadership type positions, any certifications or continuing education things that you do as a nurse or as a military officer, how many people you've led, how much money you've saved for your unit, the command, for the Navy, what you're doing for your unit, the command, or the Navy. How are you making the Navy better? You have to do things to stand out. Even things like being part of a nursing association, holding a position like secretary, treasurer, vice president, president, things that show leadership position and also community involvement. So those are the type of things that you're going to want to be involved in when you're an officer, so you can make rank. So that's lieutenant to lieutenant commander. So how are you picked basically for promotion? So you have a board, and that's typically just your fit reps and your service record. So anything you've done, any types of duties, assignments that you've had, that's all in your service record. And a board of basically different officers that are picked around the world, around the Navy, they get together. They look at different people who are up for promotion. Like, let's say there's 10 lieutenants that are up for promotion. That board of officers will look at those service records, at those packages basically, and they will pick from those packages who will make rank. So basically, who stands out the most, who's the best suited to promote from a lieutenant to a lieutenant commander. The same thing happens from lieutenant commander to commander, and then commander to captain. Just the higher up in rank you go, the less numbers the Navy needs. So the harder it is to make rank, and the more you have to stand out. So there is this thing called a lineal list that the Nurse Corps puts out periodically, and every single nurse in the Navy is on this list. So just think of like this long Excel spreadsheet of every single nurse that's in the Navy, from ensigns all the way up to captains. And what this lineal list does is it separates nurses into their ranks, and it separates nurses into how long they've been in that certain rank. So for instance, I've been a lieutenant for a little over a year now. So a year and 1 month. So I'm at the bottom of the lineal list because there's a lot of nurses who have been lieutenants for 3+ years. So the way that works is time and rank, right? So I'm not eligible to make lieutenant commander, but you have someone who's been a lieutenant for 3 years, he or she is eligible. So that's how they look at it as well. So the more time and rank, the more eligible you are for the next rank. So that's a lineal list. And then you're considered in zone if you're in that promotion zone to make the next rank up. So again, just when you're in the military, you have to do things that are more than your job. So yes, you're a nurse. Yes, you're working on the floor or a clinic, depending on where you're at. But you have to do more than that. You can't just go to work and then go home and expect to make rank. You have to get out in the community. You have to make an impact on your command. You have to mentor junior personnel. You have to eventually have a master's degree. So the way the military is now is if you're a lieutenant commander, you basically better start working on a master's degree or already have your master's degree. What I recommend is, even when you're ensign, lieutenant JG, and lieutenant, start getting your master's out of the way, because the more rank you get, the more of a leadership type position you're going to have. And trust me, the less time you're going to have to work on a master's. So my recommendation is just start working on it. I have about 4 classes under my belt right now. I wish I would have done more, but I'm working on it. So I have some master's classes to my credit. So other things that you can do to make rank is definitely get a certification. I talked about this in one of my other videos. So certifications, like if you're an ICU nurse, get your CCRN. If you are an OB nurse, get your certification, that, so on and so forth. Other things, of course, you want to be a good clinician. So you're a nurse, shine as a nurse. Make yourself the go-to person for IV sticks, or do something more like maybe be a PIC nurse or a wound care nurse. Be that go-to person, that good clinician that everybody wants to come to and learn from. That'll make you stand out. Also, another thing that is looked at is diversity of assignments. So when you're picking orders, you don't just want to go from a hospital to a hospital to a hospital or to a clinic all the time. You want to kind of branch out and do other things, like go with the Marines, go on a ship. Maybe if you're interested in critical care nursing or flight nursing, do that type of thing. That shows that you are diverse as a nurse and as an officer, and that really will make you stand out on your fit reps as well. So that is all I have for today. Again, if you guys have questions, I love your input. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you are so inclined to, and if you like the information that I'm putting out. I have to go take a shower now, and I need to go to sleep. So thank you all again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.